Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and good afternoon to our Australia and New Zealand audience as well. I hope you all have a fantastic start to the day. I'm your host of the day. My name is Karin Seal. I'm the Regional Marketing Manager of PR Newswire. I'd like to say a big welcome and thank you for tuning in to another PR Newswire's webinar. A bit of housekeeping here. Before we start, the webinar will be recorded. You'll receive the recording through an email in 2 days. We have a Q&A session towards the end of the events. Please submit your questions to the Q&A box. We'll answer them in the session. And lastly, we would love your feedback so we can deliver better events for the next time. Please fill in the survey at the end of the events, and it will only take you 2 minutes. Now, today's topic is very exciting. Everyone talks about it. Everyone kind of know about it. But do we all truly understand it? Crypto is certainly created waves across all industry in the world. We are seeing celebrities and influencers publishing their own NFTs, luxury brands utilizing blockchain technology to track product authentication, and even brands started to take on crypto-driven marketing as part of their comms mix. Among our audience today, we have brand owners, PR pros, and marketers. Are we all ready to ride this wave? To help you crack this mystery world, we invited speakers from the media side, the agency side, and also the brand side, who is also the NFT publisher themselves, to walk us through some of the burning questions we all have. Without further ado, I would like to invite our first speakers, Reed Lee, to the stage. Reed is the founding partner of iCommunications, a Hong Kong-based PR agency helping lots of B2B tech startups and the blockchain industry, including crypto exchanges, GameFi, DeFi protocols, and crypto mining to tell their story to the world. A passionate writer herself, Reed is going to share her magic essence when crafting effective comms plan and practical tips and tools while tailoring compelling messages. Reed, the stage is all yours.
Thank you, Karen, for having me here today. Can you guys hear me? All right. Cool. And hello from Hong Kong to everyone who tuned in from different locations across the region. It's great to be on the panel with Angie, Bruce, and Brian. First of all, real quick about iCommunications, as Karen just mentioned. And just to be clear, we are not a crypto agency. It just so happens that crypto has been such an exponential growth and accelerating integration into the mainstream, especially in 2021. Well, not quite yet, but it's going there, I believe. We're headquartered in Hong Kong, founded just last summer. Before I started my own agency, I had been with Burson, Flashman, and a couple of others. Besides me, who's from PR, our other founders are people in the finance industry, private equity / venture capital, also tech startup. We came together and founded iCommunications because we are all passionate about what's going on in the startup world. And there's definitely tremendous needs of communicating and storytelling for these startups and entrepreneurs, in which crypto has been a big part inevitably. And we've been working with B2B tech startups and many blockchain projects. So here's what I'm going to share with you today. I understand how challenging or even frustrating it could be when you first tasted crypto. I was basically clueless and panicking when I had to write the first crypto-related content piece in my life, which was about a cloud mining platform's listing of a mining package of this native currency on a blockchain, which provides decentralized and distributed global cloud data storage. So I believe we do share some similar set of challenges than when we had to deal with project that is related to crypto. First, the first challenge would be, can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so life in crypto time just feels like faster. So the New York Stock Exchange and the Hong Kong Stock Exchange are open 6.5 hours a day, 5 days a week, with 1 hour lunch break each day. But the crypto market is 24/7 for 365 days straight. It's a nonstop. So there's this popular saying that one day in the crypto space equals to 10 years in the real world. And next, please. Here in the crypto, or actually more accurately, the blockchain world, new technologies, innovation, and new concepts are evolving so fast. Just a little more than a decade after the Bitcoin white paper was published, we had DeFi coming under the mainstream spotlight in 2020. Then we had NFT emerged into the center of public discussion starting from the first half of 2021. Then later in 2021, GameFi became the new hot baby. But if you look at the history of computer science and the internet, it took 18 years from when IBM first launched its personal computer in 1981 to the development of Wi-Fi technology in 1999. And next, what's worse or maybe better, the circulation of information in the crypto world is overwhelming. When traditional PR had to transit into this integrated communications landscape after we had something called Facebook, who would have imagined that today we pretty much have to put our eyes on almost a dozen more communications channels to stay informed? And the last thing, it's boundaryless. Almost any legit, yes, next slide is right, yeah, okay. Almost any legit crypto projects operate on a global or at least regional scale with multiple language channels required for effective community engagement, although English still remains to be the dominant language. On the bright side though, we actually have a lot of practical tools to help us stay informed in this fast rolling engine. And here are 4 areas that I leverage to learn and adapt: the press, research and data platforms, the capital market, and industry events. The press comes in at the top for comms people like us, no doubt. Actually, not only for the purpose of getting news, but also keep ourselves aware of what the media sentiment is, which is crucial for our client advisory work. And these are the titles that I follow closely. I would categorize them into 3 types. One is these crypto verticals, which I think you can easily tell from their names or the design of logos, CoinDesk, Blockworks, Forecast News. And what I love specifically about Forecast News is that I think it's the only global blockchain vertical that is based out and originated from Asia. The second type that you do not want to miss is the top tier mainstream. From my own observation, Bloomberg and CNBC have done the greatest job so far for blockchain and crypto reporting, and some explainers. They've both set up the crypto arm, Bloomberg Crypto and CNBC Crypto World. Also, tech media like TechCrunch, they have this Silicon Valley genes to report whatever is valuable and innovative from the blockchain world. These are just some examples. The actual sea of information sources is much, much wider than this. For example, if you are specifically interested in NFT related stories, titles like Hypebeast, Vogue, Esquire, etc., could be your go-to media. And here we go, we love data, of course, which always help make our content or media pitch more outstanding. There are a few types as well, like depth data, Chainalysis. They are more of the pure research and data providers. You can see the press quoting them every now and then. And you see some of the media titles are here as well, because they also have their own dedicated research teams to generate competitive analysis, research reports, opinions, and content. Industry giants also produce their own research content now, like Huobi Research and Binance. This one called Masari on the top left, I think they are a little bit like the Financial Times in the crypto world. Its founder, Ryan Selkis, who is a leading investor in this field, he's And Masari's analysis or opinions is followed by a lot of opinion leaders and reputable investors in this circle. And we can go to the next slide, please. Yes, the capital market. Following the money could always be a useful tool to get an idea about what's trending right now, like what are the big guys' new favorite now. These usually are some of the biggest, or if not biggest, the most high profile ones who are investing in blockchain projects. Some of them might have their own specializations. For example, Animoca Brands and Ubisoft are GameFi and metaverse driven. And industry events. Actually, this April is pretty big for the crypto world, where 3 major conferences just wrapped up. Bitcoin 2022 was in Miami. It's the largest event in crypto history. The city of Miami even created this. You can see this from the screen. They created their own version of the Wall Street bull, because the city wants to build itself as the finance center of the South and the center for Web3, as we all know. California was the center for Web2. And on the right side, it's the Paris Blockchain Week Summit, as well as Crypto Assets Conference Frankfurt. And finally, something interesting I've worked on. So the first client case is a crypto exchange. They had some really exciting initiative last year, which is NFT related. And they wanted to get attention from the fashion and art media. We had a great story, which is around the key message written in the box in the middle. Basically, the correlation with the real world is that when people like Elon Musk tweet, crypto market fluctuates drastically. So through a series of NFT artwork around this reflection, we'd like to bring this to the press attention. But the challenge also, I believe, is a universal challenge when it comes to pitching to your local media. In this case, the Hong Kong local media. Most of them don't really have a dedicated blockchain, crypto, or NFT bit. So what happened was that when we caught up the finance bit, they thought that, oh, wouldn't this be something that the tech bit is covering? When we talked to tech editors, they asked, oh, so this is an artwork? And not surprisingly, when we brought this pitch to the fashion and art editors, they were wondering, oh, so what do I have to do with fintech stuff? Sounds a bit frustrating, but actually that's fine. That's totally fine, because that's exactly why we're here to bridge the gap. It just needed us to explain further why this initiative and story matters and why it is relevant to the finance, tech, fashion, and art media. And that's actually the amazing essence of blockchain technology. It is impacting every aspect of our life. In the end, we had some results that we felt happy about. Several local media wrote about us, but what's more important is that editors from Vogue and Hypebeast showed up, and they both had a long chat with the spokespeople from the client side. It is the implication of how huge potential this could become that actually matters, in my view. And conscious of the time, I'll just go quickly with the other 2 cases. So this second one is a blockchain game or NFT game, GameFi, whatever you call it. They had this seed round funding to announce. We tweaked the angle a bit for Hong Kong and Southeast Asia respectively, and we targeted the finance, tech, lifestyle, and the general pages. The results were good because it had the relevancy the press needed for both Hong Kong and Southeast Asia. The last one is a mining corporation. This one is a bit different, where the client only wanted to stay extremely low profile with their SPAC deal. But given how big they are, all top tier crypto and traditional business media reported about it, and inquiries just flooded in. The key messaging around this one is really more about how to properly interact with the reporters. The challenge was that the client team is solely driven by tech and engineering experts, and they didn't really have a PR department to handle this. So what they didn't expect at all was that after they distributed a simple, like really simple and short release through Wire, it went viral. So I guess this is just some typical and amusing dilemma that we encounter at work, while some of the smaller brands are fighting so hard for, I don't know, like this size of rectangle on the prints, and some who are under the limelight simply wish that the press think they didn't exist. And finally, what it really tells me is that the space is always crowded. And when you want to help get your clients' voices out, you've got to ensure that you have the right channels covered, but that's far from enough. What's more important, in my view, is really to make your content compelling. In the context of media pitching or media relationship building, for me, my press release has always been the most convenient icebreaker. For crypto projects where the supply of stories is way over the editorial demand, your exposure through wire distribution is vital, but you do have to offer good content for whoever that might land at your press release through Google research. Rather than forcing a release into some self-serving and promotional marketing language. So just let the PRs do the PR work, and let the marketing person do the marketing work. And this sums up my sharing. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Reid. Thank you for the great sharing. Very, very practical tips, very useful tips. I particularly like the case sharing, as I'm sure our audience here could relate to them and learn a tips or two. And of course, the part where you say that Wire helped the message to go viral. It proves that the message and also the distribution channels are equally important. Thank you so much. So just a reminder, please submit your questions through the Q&A box. We'll answer them towards the end of the events. Now, next up, I would like to invite our dual speakers, Bruce Zhu and also Brian Choi from M4Words. M4Words is an NFT publishing company based in Hong Kong. They cover the full spectrum of NFT services in offering a comprehensive and competitive social and metaverse experience. They both came with rich background in the luxury market and understand the comms mix from the inside and out for the crypto space. They'll be sharing with us how they've successfully published and marketed the NFTs and the importance of building the community. Let's welcome Bruce and Brian.
Yeah, thank you, Corinne. Hi, guys. Yeah, it's a good day to you guys, and it's really glad to be here. And so for the maybe I'll let Brian to introduce about M4Words.
Good morning, everyone. Actually, for the name, maybe people just like asking us like, how do you come up with such a name? As Corinne just mentioned before, we are the NFT publisher, and we ask for different kinds and what you aim for and what you target for, and that's the name we come up with. Aim with the sound for, and like what you're gonna do. For our company, actually we can separate into three segments. One is the IP creative. The other one is our in-house tech. And for the last part, we're going to talk mainly about is the project shielding. Why not we just like talk about last week? We just like mint out our NFT called Ape to the Moon NFT. We have a collection for 1,800 collaterals, and for the whole project we go over for half a year. Just like we mentioned before, in crypto world or same as NFT, is like time is limited. Kind of like you building a project over 8,000 or even like for 4 digits, like 5 digits membership in your Discord or in your social media. It only squeeze all the time down to couple like 2 months or even weeks. So based on such a experience, like I think the preparation is like we need to do quite a lot. For Ape to the Moon, like we starting from like last year's, almost like half years before, we work with the IP, we work with the artists, so come up with the creative. Each of the creative, we come up with different layers. It's 180 layers. We call it trace. And then like based on the programming, we just like merge each of them to make each of the NFT unique. So it's one of a kind. And then we work with a movie director, come up with the storyline, make it as a trailer, just like a movie launch, just like the Marvel stuff, Marvel trailer or something like that. And then one of the key point is, and the beauty is about smart contract. Maybe you guys like heard about the ETH and the gas is like quite expensive. So we come up with our in-house tech. The team is from the state Silicon Valley, working from IBM and Microsoft. We come up with our contract with ERC 721A, which is like saving your gas fee down to it's like 70 or 90% off. And then like the juicy part is like about social and especially the Discord. And I pass the time to Bruce so we can go over some of the example and how we come from the traditional PR and come to the crypto and NFT shooting part.
Yeah. Hey guys. Maybe I would just put a showcase of our project ATTM to let everybody knows here. And I just want to show some a little bit of my background because I have more than 20 years in PR and marketing before, but it's actually is traditional PR and marketing. And but I just want to mention like we build the NFT project, we build the NFT company and for what since last year, and then we are aiming to be the NFT and the metaverse publisher for the coming projects. And we felt that after we building the company and then we building the project, and then we found that okay, there is a totally difference of marketing strategy of entity project compare with other traditional brands project or PR marketing projects or events. Yeah, so because maybe we are the local NFT project because we come from Hong Kong, right? And so we from at the very beginning, and we were facing a lot of different difficulties to build a community in Discord. Yeah, because I think maybe most of you guys may know that okay, Discord is not really user friendly, or maybe it's not really popular in Hong Kong. Yeah, maybe just popular to some some gaming people. Yeah, for their easier communication use. And also because NFT is they're from North America or Europe, but not from Asia. So that's why a lot of the influencers or KOL or celebrities with NFT related, so they're all not based in Asia before. So that's why we want to do the marketing, and then we face a lot of difficulties because in Hong Kong, most of the people, they're just using the Instagram and Facebook as the mainstream social media platforms. But in NFT market, most likely they will search the NFT projects from Twitter, Reddit, or the last one just like Instagram. And Facebook is actually nobody cares about the Facebook feeds for NFT projects. Yeah, so that's why we need to build a community from the from actually it's almost from zero. So that's why we approach different celebrity with different KOL, and then we use different social media portals to build a community. And main the main difference is we need the Discord as the main community for the project, because we need to group all the peoples, all the NFT peoples in the community, and then we do the promotion, we do the announcement, we do the collaborations with other NFT projects in Discord, and to build more fan base in the community. And so we spend like uh 2 months and a half, and then to build more than 10K members in our community, and which is not too big, but yeah, it's a quite social of the NFT communities. And so how we build a community in our project, we do the project sharing through Twitter, Instagram, and some kind of Reddit. But because our project was not really target like foreign too many foreign people, because we mainly in Asia, and then our community are mainly the base. They are mainly from Hong Kong, Taiwan, Malaysia, Singapore, and sort of some European and some from North America. So yeah, so we build a community through the Twitter and Instagram, and we did some advertising and KOL collaborations as well. Yeah, to do the basic groundwork of the community development, and and also we did some Discord collaborations to draw some more people. And further that, we need to have some members viral, because Discord is a really not NFT friendly socials. Because why we just use Discord is just they got a lot of different bot functions. We can set the bot in the Discord server, and then we can use them to collect the crypto wallet from the members, and do some verification of they got verification functions of that. Yeah, so that's why we have to use the Discord. And so that's why we are doing some development on our metaverse as well. Yes, just a little bit heads up. And then we want to build some NFT user friendly community in our future metaverse. And so we're also thinking about, okay, how we do more education, because NFT investor now is even less than 2% in the over the world. Yeah, so it's a very beginning stage of the at this moment. So that's why I think we need to do more education through the various powerful like social media or traditional media. Yeah, so we need to educate people, because so many people, they don't even know, okay, how to use what is crypto wallet, what is NFT, and what is even though OpenSea, what's Magic Eden. They don't know about it, and they don't really want to try the new things at this moment. We need to spend so much time to ask them, okay, come on, you create a wallet, you download a crypto app, and you try to do some research on OpenSea. Yeah, we need to put so much effort on that at this moment. So I think education will be the next part after our project launch, and also with different maybe the physical, even the physical brands, or even the media, and to promote more about the crypto and the NFT market. Yeah, so we through how to educate people, and we through different channels like social media, NFT projects, even though the influencers sharing, and some press materials for to distribute to all medias all over the world. So maybe Kate, please, next slide, please. Yeah. So that's why what we need from media is like we need more PR power to support the education part, to spread out what is NFT, and then all the NFT related news to public. And we wanted to because NFT project is not local project, but it's globally. So that's why we need to spread out the news, even the single news, to all over the world. Just like we spread out our tech part for the ERC 721A smart contract, And so, but before that, and then we did some local PR, and then but also we do some Asia Pacific PR newswire. And so I think at this moment, I think we need to more resources on. We need to spread out the news of different various related NFT related news to mass public, and also related and also media. And so I think anything to mention, right, Brian?
I think if we do a comparison from the physical or traditional PR down to like come to NFT, every second is like ticking. And how we gonna to do with such is in a short period of time is all about sharing and collaboration. Let's say for DC part, we have collaborated with 400 other NFT projects. That is one of the way to bounce back with the followers. The other thing is like we try to share more, no matter it's like other founding team members or even like for our committee members. We talk about what's happening today and we share about the news. Everyone is equal. So in such a way, that's the atmosphere. That is the how we build the DC with more vibes. And I think as Bruce just mentioned, like Newswire is one of the big channel because like we want to through one channel and blast the news to everyone in short period of time. We kind of like having the online offline combine like back and forth, just making people to building the trust. Because like one of the key thing about or critical point about NFT is about the trust. Most of the pool, most of the project is like is quite how can we say it? We all also always having a how we describe it. This call is somehow like a prison, like with the guard, like whatever you're doing wrong, we just ban you guys out, and you have to fulfill whatever mission to. Is that everything is not fun, but like for NFT, when you can't touch and feel the physical product, you have to make it fun. Like everything
Yeah.
have to be sharing and everything has to be sharing. We can sing karaoke in the Discord. We can
Yeah.
have games. We can have playing pokers over there. People how to gain coins. That should be something like it's more chilling. It's
Yeah.
more based on the is we call it DAO because like for our project like it's based on the community. We can vote for making decision, and that's why people don't just like go buying the stock like in the stock market because like they can't touch. Every year you can only have one chance to get a report or a quarterly having the report. You can't talk to the founding team every single day, or they find some problem or something interesting they can share. We can directly answer it. We can directly share it. We have other supporting team to helping them. That is the commit. That is the beauty of NFT. So up to now, like
Yeah, so that's why, yeah, as Byron said, I think everything is talk about trust in NFT market. So that's why I just mentioned like, okay, we need to educate more people. And the key point, just like Brian and Reed also said that, okay, 24 hours in NFT world is just equals to almost 10 years in real life. Yeah, so we need the speedy message delivery. So that's why I think the press materials, how to spread out the press materials in a short period of time. That's the most key point for the education of NFT of NFT market. And so because we need the education to build the trust of from the people to NFT, because there are a lot of negative vibes from the NFT projects. So that's why we need to tune it to be positive. Yeah. So and then we need to give them some confidence and the solid information from NFT market and talking about what we are doing right now. Yeah, so I think that this is the most important part of traditional media. We need the traditional media compared with the social, because social we mainly just for sharing, because we need the traditional media to build up the trust to the audience, and then and then we do the sharing, and then that would be take maybe more than more, they can save our times. Yeah. So
I think we need to wrap it up and just
yeah.
leave more time for Angie on the next one.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bruce and Brian. Lots of new platforms and obviously marketing mix. We definitely need to dig deeper. And thank you for the shout out. Disclaimer, we didn't pay them, but we'd be happy to send over some chocolate and one for you to share. Something both you guys and Reed mentioned is about the time is of essence, because the crypto world changes really quickly. And we heard from the agency side and also the brand side, we missed the media perspective here. So I would like to welcome Angie Lao, the editor-in-chief, CEO and founder of Forecast News, a 3-year-old independent online news platform covering stories of blockchain and emerging technology. Forecast News might be young, but Angie is definitely a very experienced and respected member in the media industry. She is an award-winning veteran journalist, used to anchor in Bloomberg TV and also a TED speaker. Welcome, Angie Lao. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you so much. No, I really enjoyed, the presentations before, and I'll reiterate that there is so much education that is needed, and this is really what I felt was missing when we got into this space, was that on both sides of the spectrum, and many of the mainstream media side, and you'll still see this, is the kind of issues that Reed mentioned when she's trying to pitch a story, and no one knows internally within those news organizations where that lands. And then on the far end of the spectrum, very specific crypto websites that speak to crypto enthusiasts and insiders and the community that already understands a lot of this stuff. And I really felt that what was missing was this mid-ground, which is a growing group of professionals and industry folks and regular people who are smart, engaged, wants to understand this a little bit more, may not be as well-versed or understand the lingo or the techno jargon that, very crypto specific sites use. But more interested than just, what was the price of Bitcoin going up or down. This lack of presence in the media space is what Forecast fills, and we do it from Asia. We are the only global media digital platform that covers crypto and blockchain for this audience that is based out of Asia. And I think that that's a very important distinction here, because when it comes to cryptocurrency and blockchain and technology, this is a global story, but the voices and the projects and the people that are coming out of the Asia Pacific region can only be covered if the media is there. And from that vantage point, that is so specific to us that is our perspective, that as we cover this space, we really cover it that includes the perspective of Asia economies, of Asia projects and venture money and investors and initiatives. And as everybody knows, being in Asia, it is a whole new world. If you are not based here, worked here, understand it, live it, it's really hard to include it as part of the coverage. And that's what we do really, really well. So what is Forecast? Forecast beyond just text, which a lot of you read our stories. You probably subscribe to our newsletters. We just launched our new daily forecast newsletter that complements our daily market reports that air Monday to Friday, every day, from our vantage point in Asia. And we cover the stories of blockchain and crypto from the region and to the world. And we do also the explainers, because to Bruce's point, the education is so lacking. And this is really where we come in. Because we are journalists and reporters, and we understand how to report a story and deep dive and help an audience understand, that also means that we are a tool, a service for a lot of blockchain firms and companies and protocols that are eager to educate. And there is something that is very specific about the blockchain and crypto industry that is definitely very different than perhaps retail or B2C or consumer products. And that is that it really is about educating the audience, that relationship starts when the audience understands what you are doing and your role in it. And I really think back to the Medici family during the Renaissance period, and how this powerful Italian banking family really funded the arts and the greatest artists of the time, and triggered the Renaissance movement. And why was that? Because at the core of it, they recognized that people can't engage with businesses and arts and humanities if they don't understand it. And so what they funded was understanding and education. And through that, business opportunities came. We recognize our very important role in this space. But first and foremost, who we serve is the audience themselves. I've always said this, and some of you may know me from my anchoring days, and I've always answered the question like this, which is, what do you do as a journalist? What's your role? And my answer to that is, I advocate for the audience. And in that way, I think that this is something that the blockchain industry really understands intimately. And as PR professionals, I think this is something to understand intimately for your clients as well. We're never going to be interested in marketing language or, telling us why it's so great and why you're so great, et cetera, et cetera. And I think everybody here already knows that, but you still see it bleed through. What interests us is, how is this advancing, changing? Who is it impacting? And ultimately, how can you help our audience understand it better? Excuse me. And understanding it better is ultimately what we're all in the business of doing. For the mainstream media, yes, that education also is starting to grow there. And there are some reporters who get it and some editors who also get it. But internally within those systems, they may not have the specific reporter. Is it the tech, editor who should be getting the story? Maybe it's the arts editor. Neither one thinks it's their story, and so nobody covers the story, right? Because we are so specific, and because we recognize that we are specialists. We are not generalists. And most mainstream media is generalist. We are specialists. And that is very, very important to me, to fully comprehend this incredible technology that is changing our world, from a societal point of view, from an economic point of view, from a business point of view, from a cultural point of view, from an industry point of view. It is such a deep dive that we don't have enough people to cover all the stories that we want to cover. But at the same time, we have to be super selective, curated, because this space is very, very noisy. And so how do you rise above the noise when you pitch your stories to us? Because when you pitch your stories to us and we cover it, guess who reads it? All of our mainstream media friends who are among our subscribers and who are among, Reed shared that diagram of some of the top brands in media. Well, everybody reads us. And that in and of itself is part of the strategic thinking that potentially you might want to consider, is that, who is the audience of the organization that you're pitching? So what is Forecast? That's who we are. I'll share with you the next page. If you were ever curious about, this space, if you guys could switch to the next slide. And so, as I mentioned, these are some of the brands that read us. Our global audience is through our syndication partners and our own site reach is 150 million and growing. We have a third readership in Asia, Europe, and North America. And to understand our audience, take a look at the bottom right-hand corner. And this is, we're in that category of people who are either investors or industry leaders and very interested in the space and need to understand what's going on, because every second something changes. It's absolutely true. Okay, next slide, please. Why is this interesting space? When they say you want hockey stick growth, if anybody's familiar with hockey, we say we want hockey stick growth for any industry. And you'll see that there's enormous growth, and it shows no signs of slowing. I will also say that I'm so sorry, guys. I will also say that price movement is not the only measure of growth. And these are some of the things that you should also be reviewing, because ultimately at the end of the day, it is about the growing number of people who are getting into the space. And when they get into the space, they bring liquidity with them. They expand the market and they expand the dollars and the opportunities, which means that this space is growing. And the more educated, the more informed this audience is, the more familiar and comfortable they will be with this space. And that only helps the collective industry as a whole. There's no doubt it is changing the world. It's already changed the world. And where it's going only excites me more as a journalist, because these are stories that we will be telling for a long time. Next slide, please. So how do you pitch a news organization and have one of our reporters or editors say, you know what, this is a great story. We think we'd like to cover it and learn more. And it's obviously the simple stuff. Watch the jargon. And by jargon, I also want to include marketing language. It's, I often find marketing language kind of bleed into bleed into these pitches, and there it actually detracts from the message, because we all know why you're sharing this news with us, but it detracts from the message, because it detracts from the story. Frame it for your audience and market to us, because if you can frame it as to why this is of value to the industry, or why this is newsworthy, or why somebody might be interested, that's when you're doing your homework. You're doing your homework because you're recognizing market trends, which means that's exciting for me because you're speaking to me already. These are things that I'm talking about. And if it's interesting, it means, well, I'll cover it. So be well read, measure and monitor market trends, measure and monitor, what's going on in social media, what people are talking about, but also more holistically, if you're also recognizing trends, don't be afraid to include that in your pitch, because you're also helping the journalist see something that you see as an industry leader, as a blockchain firm or a crypto firm, that we might not be seeing. And in that way, you're already valuable to, like that. You've already been of value to us, and it's great to have that kind of collaborative thinking and relationship that you can nurture. And finally, research the news organization you're pitching. We don't usually, well, no, we don't. We don't cover projects in testnet or airdrops or things like that. We're not interested in participating in the showing aspect of projects. That's not what we're about. We're interested in educating our audience so that they can understand it better, and specifically, the tier of audience that is more professional, and well read, and that's the kind of audience. And so, like, take a look at different audiences and different readers that different news organizations have. For example, Decrypt has a very strong community of people who are crypto people, but we speak more to people who are crypto people, but not necessarily crypto people. And in fact, a lot of the people who read us aren't in crypto, but are just absolutely interested in learning about it for their own industry or their own career. And they want to learn more. That's our audience. And so to understand that helps you succeed in conversations with news organizations. And final slide, I'll share my information with you guys. We are just about to launch a Forecast Plus membership. This is a membership subscription that allows our members to access all of our archives, our stories, events, and really engage with blockchain leaders in the industry. And I invite you to join as members. It will be critical to pretty much everybody's job, if I dare say so myself. But that is the business that we are in. And we are 3 years old, and we continue to grow. And we're so excited about this Forecast Plus membership. So please take a look at it. If you want to pitch us, editorial@Forecast. Anything else is hello@Forecast. And happy to take any and all questions. I think all of my fellow panelists are.
Thank you so much, Angie. Forecast News is definitely a great site housing all the news and info in the industry. If anyone is interested, please take a look. Let me show all your faces. Can I invite all the panelists to come on board? Yes. Perfect. We do have quite a lot of questions. We're trying to wrap it up within 10 minutes, mindful of the time. First questions, We got a feel actually about the repetition and regulation. So in APAC, we do know some of the countries do have a regulations for the media to publish any news about crypto, about blockchain, or anything around this area. And then there is like repetition on some of the NFTs or some of the crypto that is like maybe a bit scammy. Do any of you have any experience tackling these? Anything, any insights, any tips that you can share with our audience? Reid, do you have any experience? Sorry to put you on the spotlight. I know you do have something.
No, it's fine. Actually, that's a big question I always ask to myself as well, because we do encounter obstacles when we have projects to land in. So far, I've experienced some difficulties in Vietnam, Indonesia, some bit of Thailand. But I have what I have to say. I wouldn't say much about the regulation, because the regulation is still far behind how this industry is shaping. But my own observation is that, for example, in China, the entire market just banned it, but then we still see a lot of thought leadership content that is generated by some of the WeChat public accounts, which existed for like many years. So they still run on they still generate valuable contents, and people still like talk to people, be it KOLs or community influencers. So I think this thing, there's no black and white answer for this, I'm afraid to say. What we were trying to do is still like trying the best we can to find, so we just need a channel to get our voices out, right? It could be your social media, or maybe the traditional media is not allowed to publish anything about that. So I think we do need the local expertise there to provide, because we're in Hong Kong and we don't necessarily have, and we don't speak Vietnamese, Indonesian, but then we have the local resources to feedback the local insights to us, and let us know, which media might have this gray area. Can I say gray area? But yeah, maybe they can accept paid content. So I think one thing is the channel. Just try everything you can to find someone or some publication to do that. And then it's about the content, the story you're telling. You might not need to sell your product. Rather, maybe you could tell an industry story, like Angie just said. Maybe you can tell from the market trend perspective. And I think that's easier for the publications as well, for the market as well, to just avoid some regulatory obstacles.
Yeah, speaking of platform, which is really important, I think we do have some follow-up questions on what platforms are you guys recommending, especially when he's like talking about bringing the traditional media, the audience from the traditional media to the new platforms like Discord, like Twitter, who might be not a very popular platform, especially in Hong Kong. Do any of you got any experience or tips to share on this area, on platform? Bruce, I know you're very enthusiastic about Discord and building the communications.
Yeah. Sorry, can pardon me? Yeah. So just now I discussed something with Brian, so I didn't realize what you were talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, so some of the audience asked about platform, and also also talking about how we can actually tackle like the country regulations on where we can publish the news. So social media and some of the platforms may be some of the way that we can tackle. And we got some questions about how we can direct our traditional audience from the traditional platform towards the new platform like Discord, Twitter, Reddit. Do you guys have any insights on how to do that?
Okay. Actually, that's some study in the world, it's only single digit percentage for people like knowing or NFT related. So if we first of all, if we want to build a community in a short period of time, so the way has to be jump to Discord first. We do collaboration. Make sure the first tier we build up is like they already NFT knowledgeable, and then we will that's the other way around, we build up and through their own referral or word of mouth, and then we build up the community first. That is the first step, and then we use the different channel, no matter it's like TG or Reddit, or it really depends on your it's more focused on what target audience or which hashtag you're using to approach certain amount of groups. So we build a base community, and then we kind of like shooting by strategic, like by segment onto each of way. But one of the big difference in between NFT communication from the world we used it to be is about two-way communication. We find it AMA, ask me anything, is one of the good way. We can collaborate. We can give out some incentive like airdrop or free min, no matter. It's only one of the way to treat, like give them a reason to come over here. But the beauty is like what maybe we are anytime to have a voice channel or AMA. It's crazy. Like even till 1 a.m. when a committee is like getting all the people, they hit it up with certain topics. They will ask for an AMA. Sometimes if capable, we can do it and we can share. We keep them updated. So they is about the vibe. It's not about one way direction. Like we just like browse it like a certain message on Telegram, or like they can feedback and we can give some. But like the most beauty is like come to Discord. You can be let people be curious, like having the curiosity of what you guys going on. We only screen cap certain graphic or certain news on the public in one way, but like we let the juicy and sexy part come over. You have to be part of it, then you can know more, you can get more. It's different from the outsider. That is the way, and cut down the wastage. Keep more time preparing for, just like Angie just mentioned. We have to, like as a founding team, we have to do our own work. We have to do our own preparation. Save all the time to work with the people you talking on. Work on those, like work with them, let them know more. They will give you more resources. Don't just think it's one direction, one way out. They can feedback. They can pull out more resources. They can come up with other projects. They can come up with other ideas. So in certain ways, it's different from the social media we used to have, the way we work.
Cool. I think we've mentioned scams on NFT industry. Angie, is there any sign that you look at when you pick up a story to make sure that it's not a scam or to verify it? Any sign that you're looking at?
Yeah, that's a great question. So obviously we have the opportunity to do that as reporters and ask those questions and vet it before. This is a huge responsibility that we take very, very seriously, because you know, we don't want to share our platform with untested or miscommunicate, right? But at the end of the day, you know, it really is, you've got to, for us, and I think for anybody, to understand the project, to take time, do research, who are the founders, who's the leadership, what is their pedigree, where do they come from, what's their experience. If there's an opportunity to take a look at some of their you know, records or public records or GitHub or whatever the case is, that, you know, white papers and all of that, and do some pre-research before making a determination, then that's important. This is why we say we don't really cover projects in testnet, or like a white paper, and this is an NFT project and it's going to take over the, you know, and it's going to make a cajillion dollars. Well, based on a white paper, I mean, those days are long gone. And the discipline of this industry has evolved such that, you know, you can't really get away with that as much, but different things are popping up. And this is where investors get caught as well. Excited about the hype, excited about, you know, the numbers that they're seeing flying in the growth, and wanting to get in and jump on that bandwagon without doing a lot of homework first. And that's kind of where people get caught. And hopefully, you know, we're part of that education process. You know, we're part of that research process. We're part of that information discovery process. It really is. Look, guys, it's exciting space. It's also enormously intimidating. And this is where we hope to empower people a little bit more. It is intimidating, but let us take care of that and try to bear the brunt of that and explain it to you in a way where you can understand it. And that's all there is. But this is not a job that we can do ourselves. You know, we need to have like really great partners in Reed and Bruce and yourselves and all the PR professionals in this space who are watching right now, to also understand that this is a common goal, is how do we communicate this growth, this story, this industry, this technology in language that anyone can understand. And takes a village.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Angie. There's another question direct to you. Angie, do you believe that the media tends to get dominated by specific hype topics? Example, NFT currently, and not focus on more emerging trends like real world assets on DeFi?
I do think that. But this is what happens when, if you understand how general, you know, media exists, it's aggregating as many eyeballs as possible. And so if people are interested in this specific story, and you write about it and more people read it, well, then your editors or your publisher is going to be super happy with you. And all of a sudden you see NFT stories coming out of the woodwork. Whereas, you know, it is important to understand that this is not the only story in town, just like Bitcoin prices is not the only story in town. ETH prices are not the only story in town. NFTs not the only story in town. What, you know, oh, look how much they sold this NFT for. That is such an old story. Please, let's not do any more of those stories. Can we? Can we promise not to? Because what is more interesting is how are industries using NFTs in a way that is transforming process and infrastructure and economy. That's more interesting. In real estate, in gaming, obviously, you know, in music, in live events, in media. You know, the Forecast Plus membership is, we're launching an NFT based membership. We're very excited to incorporate this new technology into our platform. It's the right thing. It's the exciting thing to evolve from our Web2 realities to, you know, and I'm not just speaking about ourselves, I'm talking about everybody, into the potential of Web3. And those are the interesting stories. So I would say keep reading, keep diversifying your media. You know, you have your brands, but extend your brands and don't outsource your knowledge or thinking to any one media or news pundit. You know, please please get all sides of the story, all sides of the story. It's that important.
Yep. Thank you for sharing, Angie. To wrap up this panel, I would like to ask each of the panelists to share one top tips maybe for the brands who are trying their hands on crypto-driven marketing. What do you recommend that they do? One tips that they do that they won't fall into a cliche or that would help them. Anyone want to go first?
I'll go first. I would say take time to be intentional. What do I mean by that? Don't give me a blast. It's so clear. It's like this email has been sent to like 5 million people. It has no reference to you understanding what we're doing, our timelines, or, you know, our audience. So take that little bit of extra time to be intentional. Who is it that you're speaking to? Why might it be interesting? You may not hear from us anyway, but I will take note, and it will be noted. It will be noted. And I think that taking that tiny little effort will go a long way.
For me, I think as a PR person, I would say to my agency friends that do educate or push back to clients who want to force you to make your pitch very promotional and marketing. Instead, give them something valuable. Take information and generate content from the data, the big trends. Don't just stay on the product or marketing level. And that's a huge fight with client. That's not easy. It's always like this, but yeah, we still need to do that.
I'm sure that's why we need professionals like you guys. Bruce and Brian?
For the brand side, we think commitment and transparency is the most important for us. As time will tell, and also if you are solid on one thing and let people know about, because like it's no longer rap 2.0. Right now it's 3.0. 3.0 is like everyone is like have a right decentralized. They can voice out. You have to be responsible for their requests up to certain level, or you have already you do your own preparation. You select the choice. You give them the pro and con, and let them decide. This is the world. Like this is the NFT world. Be honest, they are not only buying an PFP. They are not buying a PNG. They are buying a membership. They are getting involved on your project. So we have to be responsible to them, and then we lead the way. We have to be transparent. That is some of the.
Yeah, I think the transparency is is the most important part in the NFT market, because there are a lot of rug pull, we so called, because they're not transparent, because everybody just in the virtual world, and then they do their business, and then they grab the ETH, and then they run away. That's a lot of rug pull, and it made it so much negative vibes of NFT market. So that's why we need more education through the media platform, traditional media platform, and then to correct the wrong mindset of the from the people, from the audience, or the potential NFT investors. And so so that's why our selling point to the media, or to through the social media, is we are totally transparent. We're telling you who we are. We're telling you what we have from our team, and what's next of our projects. And also we don't mind you ask me anything about the project team, or even about me. That's the total transparency. We want to be transparent, to give the trust to the audience. So because if we're doing like that, okay, we're absolutely not a rug pull. And also I would suggest they can, through the media, and then to know more about the project, to know more about the NFTs. And also the main point is they have to do their own research. Yeah, this is every investment stuffs. And then we're talking about DYOR. Yeah, don't just read the articles, and then don't just trust your friend, and then do your own research. Yeah, this is the only tip we want to mention.
Thank you so much. I think there are a few keywords that keep popping up. I'd just like to highlight them. So first of all, the crypto world is changing really quickly. So do your homework. I think all of you mentioned that. Do your homework, keep reading all the news, follow forecasts for all the news. No blasting, 1 to 100 message, study your persona and tailor the message. Reid has shared a lot of great tips on how you can craft it, and like what message you actually have to share with the audience. And then education is still needed in all fronts. And we as a marketer, as a PR pros, as a communicators, we are the one who can educate the audience, who can educate the brands, who can educate the agencies, who can educate literally everyone. So we are in a very important role. Thank you so much for all the great tips, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you all the speakers for sharing. As mentioned at the beginning, we'll be sharing the recording, and we'll be sharing some of the materials that our speakers will be shared to you guys as well. Here are some of the resources that PR Newswire has shared. So first of all, APAC PR planning. So we created a toolkit for you guys to actually plan ahead for 2022. I know we are kind of like in the middle of 2022 already, but there is still a lot to do for the rest of the year. And then also we published our first podcast earlier the month. So the first podcast, we have our interviewee Rita Lee, the editor-in-chief for Yahoo Live Southeast Asia. Our podcast is called Behind the Byline. You can search it on Spotify, you can search it on YouTube, it's on all the channels, or go to our website and then you can find the link. Thank you again for everyone who joined us today. I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.